Ladies and gentlemen, let's cut through the excuses right now. You didn't show up here to be average. You came here because something inside you is hungry for more strength, more power, more control over your life. And that's exactly what we're about to unleash with the Dumbbell Body Storm. This isn't about lifting weights, it's about lifting yourself. Every rep, every drop of sweat, every moment you push past that voice telling you to quit, that's where the real transformation happens. So buckle up because today isn't just a workout, it's a storm, and you're about to prove you can stand in the middle of it and come out stronger than ever. Owning your strength means stepping into a version of yourself that is unapologetically powerful, determined, and unshakable. Too often, people borrow strength from external sources, waiting for validation, leaning on motivation that fades as quickly as it comes, or depending on others to push them into action. But real transformation begins when you decide that your strength doesn't come from outside approval, it doesn't come from a perfect plan, and it doesn't come from luck. It comes from you. It comes from the moment you choose to stop outsourcing your power and start owning it, taking responsibility for the fire inside you. Think about how many times people wait for the right moment, the right mood, or the right support system to get moving. They borrow courage from pep talks, strength from the approval of friends, or energy from someone else's motivation. But the truth is, all of that is temporary. Borrowed strength fades the moment the source disappears. When the cheerleader isn't there, when the motivation video ends, when the support system has its own problems to deal with, where do you turn? If your power has been borrowed, you're left empty. But when you own your strength, when you cultivate it from within, nothing can take it away. Owning your strength is about showing up on the days you don't feel like it. It's about doing the work when nobody's watching, pushing through when no one is clapping, and digging deeper when your body screams to quit. Quit. Strength isn't just physical, it's mental and emotional. It's in the moment you say, I am not waiting for anyone else to tell me I can. I know I can. It's deciding that even when the circumstances aren't perfect, even when you're tired, even when life throws obstacles in your way, you still have what it takes to push forward. Borrowing strength is comfortable because it allows you to lean on someone else's drive, but comfort never creates growth. Growth demands discomfort. Owning your strength requires you to step into the hard places, the doubt, the struggle, the fatigue, and stand tall anyway. It's telling yourself that your body and your mind are capable of far more than you've allowed them to show. And the moment you realize that, the game changes. Owning your strength also means rejecting excuses. Excuses are just a way of handing your power away. I can't because I'm too busy. I can't because I'm too tired. I can't because it's too hard. Each excuse is a contract you sign that gives your strength away to circumstances instead of claiming it for yourself. When you own your strength, you take back control. You say, yes, I'm busy, but I can still move my body. Yes, I'm tired, but I can still push for one more rep. Yes, it's hard, but that's exactly why I need to do it. Strength doesn't ask if it's easy, it asks if it's worth it. When you own your strength, you stop waiting to feel ready. Readiness is a myth. No one feels perfectly ready to step into the storm, to lift heavier, to go further, to face the challenge. But readiness isn't the requirement, ownership is. You act, and through action, you create the strength you thought you didn't have. Every single rep builds not just muscle, but resilience. Every time you push through resistance, you prove to yourself that you don't need to borrow power. You already have it. Strength is not just about the dumbbell in your hand, it's about the mindset that says, this weight doesn't own me. I own it. This challenge doesn't define me. I define it. Strength is the decision to show up, to own your effort, to own your results, and to own the person you're becoming in the process. Borrowing might get you started, but owning will take you all the way. Excuses don't burn calories, effort does. That's the raw truth most people avoid because it's uncomfortable. Excuses feel good in the moment. They're soft, they're convenient, and they let you off the hook. I don't have time, I'm too tired, I'll start tomorrow, I had a long day, I don't know where to begin. Each one sounds reasonable, but not a single one will change your body, your mindset, or your life. They don't move the needle, they don't build muscle, and they don't torch fat. All they do is keep you exactly where you are, locked in the same cycle of wanting results without paying the price of effort. Effort is the currency of change. No one transforms because they had the perfect excuse lined up. Transformation happens because someone decided to put in the work, no matter what. When you sweat, when you push your limits, when you choose to do one more rep instead of quitting, you're making deposits into the bank of progress. Day after day, choice after choice, those small acts of showing up and putting in the work build into massive results. Excuses, on the other hand, compound in the opposite direction. Every time you give into one, you reinforce a habit of stopping short. You teach yourself that it's okay to settle, that it's okay to expect something for nothing. The truth is, effort doesn't require perfection. It doesn't demand flawless technique every second or superhuman energy every day. It simply requires that you try, that you give what you have in the moment. If that's 10 reps today instead of 20, fine. If it's 20 minutes of movement instead of an hour, good. The body and the mind adapt to what you consistently ask of them. The more you lean into effort, the stronger you get, the more stamina you build, the more resilient your mindset becomes. Excuses don't have that power. They're empty words that vanish into the air, leaving nothing behind but regret. Think about how many people sit around waiting for motivation. They say they'll start when they feel inspired, when life calms down, when they have more time. But motivation is a terrible master because it's fleeting. Effort doesn't care about motivation. Effort is about discipline. It's about lacing up your shoes when you don't feel like it, picking up the weight when you'd rather lie down, pushing through when your body says stop, but you know you've got more in the tank. That's where change lives, in the gap between comfort and commitment. Excuses always live in comfort. They whisper to you that you've done enough, that you can start over tomorrow, that you deserve a break. And sometimes rest is necessary. But you know the difference between rest and excuses. Rest replenishes you, excuses rob you. They take away the opportunity to prove to yourself what you're capable of. They steal the chance to build momentum, to create confidence, to feel the pride of following through. Effort, even small effort, always gives something back. It gives you progress, it gives you energy, it gives you proof that you're stronger than you thought. Every drop of sweat tells a story of effort. Every rep completed is a reminder that you chose progress over excuses. The human body doesn't respond to what you plan, what you dream, or what you intend. It responds to what you actually do. Calories burn when muscles fire, when the heart rate climbs, when you challenge your limits. Excuses don't create that physiological response. Only effort does. And effort is available to you every single day. Doesn't matter if you're a beginner or a pro, if you're lifting heavy or just starting with body weight. What matters is that you show up and you put in the work because that's the only thing that counts. Discomfort is the price of transformation. Growth has never come from staying comfortable, from playing small, or from living in the safety zone where everything feels easy and predictable. Comfort might feel good in the short term, but it is the enemy of progress. The moment you commit to real change, whether it's building strength, burning fat, or reshaping your mindset, you have to be willing to embrace the uncomfortable. That's the space where the body adapts, where the mind hardens, and where transformation truly begins. Think about the first time you push yourself past a limit in training. Your muscles burn, your lungs tighten, and your brain tells you to stop. That's discomfort. And yet, that's exactly where the work matters most. Because what's really happening in those moments is adaptation. The body is being forced to respond to a demand greater than what it's used to. The muscle fibers tear so they can rebuild stronger. The cardiovascular system strains so it can expand capacity. The mind fights resistance so it can toughen. Without that friction, without that challenge, there is no reason for your body or your brain to evolve. Comfort keeps everything exactly as it is. Discomfort is the cost you pay to change. Too often, people see discomfort as a signal to quit. They mistake it for danger when really it's the doorway. The sweat, the soreness, the fatigue, these aren't signs that you should stop. They are signs that you are finally pushing into the zone where growth occurs. The people who transform aren't the ones who avoid those feelings. They're the ones who welcome them, who understand that each rep of struggle is a brick laid in the foundation of a stronger self. Discomfort isn't punishment, it's proof you're moving forward. Transformation isn't just physical, it's mental. Discomfort builds resilience that carries far beyond the gym or the workout. When you teach yourself to push through a set when everything in you screams to stop, you're not just training muscles, you're training grit. You're rewriting the story in your head that says, I can't. That's how confidence is born. You begin to realize that the barrier wasn't your body, it was your tolerance for discomfort. And the higher that tolerance grows, the more unstoppable you become in every area of your life. Avoiding discomfort is what keeps people stuck. They lift the same weights, run the same distances, repeat the same routines, never daring to challenge themselves with something harder. It feels safe, but it's stagnant. If you want to storm your limits, you have to invite discomfort in. You have to chase it, knowing that every time it shows up, it's a sign you're exactly where you need to be. Growth requires pressure. Diamonds are made from heat and force, not ease and comfort. Bodies and minds are no different. It's also important to understand that discomfort isn't chaos. It doesn't mean destroying yourself recklessly. It means finding that edge where you're challenged, where you're stretched, where you're forced to give more than you thought you had, and staying there long enough to adapt. That's where the storm hits, and that's where the transformation takes root. You don't get stronger lifting weights that feel light forever. You don't build stamina running at the same easy pace day after day. You grow by stepping into the uncomfortable zone where your old self wants to quit and your new self is born. Every rep of discomfort is an investment. Every time you push through the shake, the burn, the fatigue, you're buying transformation with the only currency that matters: effort under pressure. Comfort costs nothing, but it also gives nothing back. Discomfort costs you sweat, willpower, and energy, but in return, it gives you strength, resilience, and a body and mind that can weather any storm. Progress beats perfection every time. Too often, people get stuck chasing impossible standard of flawlessness, believing that if they can't do everything perfectly, it's not worth trying at all. They wait for the ideal moment, the perfect plan, the flawless execution, and in doing so, they get stuck in inaction. Perfection is a mirage. It's a moving target that constantly shifts further away the closer you think you are to reaching it. Progress, on the other hand, is real, measurable, and achievable. It's the small wins, the consistent efforts, the incremental improvements that compound over time into massive results. Perfection is seductive because it offers the illusion of control. People want to believe that if they plan enough, execute enough, and wait long enough, they can avoid mistakes, failures, and setbacks. But the reality is that life and transformation don't work that way. Mistakes are inevitable, challenges are unavoidable. The body doesn't respond to theory, it responds to action. Waiting to be perfect is just another form of procrastination. True success comes from taking imperfect action, from showing up, from lifting that weight, running that mile, or moving through that set even when everything isn't exactly right. Every step forward counts, and every imperfect effort adds up. Progress is about embracing the journey rather than fixating solely on the destination. It's about noticing the subtle changes, the increase in reps, the improvement in form, the ability to lift heavier or push longer than yesterday. These wins might seem small in isolation, but over weeks and months, they snowball into remarkable transformations. When you prioritize progress over perfection, you give yourself permission to be human, to make mistakes, and to learn from them. Each setback becomes a lesson rather than a failure. Each obstacle becomes a challenge to overcome rather than a reason to quit. One of the biggest barriers to progress is the belief that you need to be perfect from the start. People hesitate, overthink, and second guess themselves because they feel they need everything aligned perfectly before acting. But transformation doesn't start with perfection, it starts with commitment. Commitment to showing up, to putting in the work, to moving forward even when it's messy, uncomfortable, or far from ideal. You don't need flawless form on your first day, you need consistency. You don't need to lift the heaviest weight immediately. You need to keep lifting. You don't need to follow a perfect diet. You need to make better choices more often than not. Progress also builds confidence and momentum. Every time you take a step forward, no matter how small, you reinforce the belief that you are capable of change. This belief fuels further action, creating a positive cycle that perfectionism can never generate. Waiting for perfection, on the other hand, creates stagnation. Perfectionism is paralyzing because it's always chasing something that doesn't exist. Progress, by contrast, is empowering because it's tangible. You can see it, feel it, and measure it. Every extra rep, every additional minute of effort, every improvement in stamina or strength is proof that you are moving forward. Finally, progress is sustainable. Perfection demands too much too soon, and that often leads to burnout, frustration, and giving up entirely. Progress acknowledges that transformation is a marathon, not a sprint. It allows for pacing, recovery, adaptation, and learning. It values persistence over intensity, consistency over brilliance, and action over hesitation. By committing to progress rather than perfection, you create a foundation that lasts. You don't just achieve temporary results, you build habits, resilience, and a mindset that can carry you through any challenge. In the end, the choice is clear. Chasing perfection keeps you stuck in fear, doubt, and waiting. Choosing progress propels you forward, strengthens your body and mind, and creates momentum that perfection could never provide. Every imperfect rep, every small improvement, every day you show up counts more than waiting for the mythical perfect moment. To begin, your body is the storm, unleash it. Too often, people see their bodies as fragile, limited, or in need of careful coddling. They underestimate the power that already exists within them, the potential that lies dormant beneath comfort, fear, or hesitation. But your body is not a machine to be babysat. It is a force of nature capable of strength, endurance, and resilience far beyond what you imagine. The storm inside you is waiting. It's waiting for permission to roar, to push limits, and to break through barriers you once thought were permanent. The key is realizing that unleashing it starts with ownership. Every time you step into a workout, lift a weight, or challenge your limits, you give your storm permission to grow. The human body responds to challenge, stress, and effort. It thrives on being tested, pushed, and even pushed past what seems reasonable. The first step is to stop fearing the discomfort, the sweat, and the burn. These are the signs that your storm is awakening. They are not punishment, they are signals of growth. Each rep, each set, each surge of effort is a lightning strike of transformation, and the more willing you are to engage with it, the more powerful your storm becomes. Your body has more capacity than your mind believes. The mind often says, I can't, when the body is more than capable. The storm lies in the gap between what you think is possible and what your body can actually achieve. That gap is where transformation resides. It's where muscles tear and rebuild stronger, where endurance extends beyond expectation, and where resilience becomes as much mental as physical. You've got to challenge the limits because the storm doesn't awaken in comfort. It awakens in the heat of struggle, in the moments when you're shaking, breathless, and questioning whether you can go further. That's the power you have lying in wait. To unleash your storm, you must stop holding back. Too often, people approach training cautiously, afraid to push too hard, too fast, or too far. But hesitation diminishes power. A storm doesn't pause to ask permission. It crashes forward, unstoppable and relentless. When you lift with intensity, move with focus, and drive yourself beyond yesterday's limits, you are unleashing the storm within you. Strength is not measured by the weights alone. It is measured by the courage to challenge yourself, to face discomfort head on, and to refuse to settle for mediocrity. Unleashing your body's storm also requires consistency. Storms build over time, gathering energy, momentum, and force. Every workout, every effort, every choice to push harder contributes to the growing power within you. Skipping days, settling for easy, or giving into laziness dissipates the energy of the storm. True force comes from sustained effort, from showing up day after day, rep after rep, without excuses. The storm cannot exist in fragments. It requires your commitment, your presence, and your willingness to stay in the fight. Beyond physicality, the storm is mental. It is the confidence to push through resistance, the resilience to face setbacks, and the determination to rise again when you fall. Your body and mind are not separate, they amplify each other. A strong mind channels a strong body, and a strong body fuels a strong mind. Together, they form a storm that is unstoppable, unshakable, and capable of crushing limitations. The energy of the storm flows through every fiber of your being, waiting for the moment you decide to unleash it fully, to stop holding back, and to embrace the power that is already yours. Every surge of effort, every heartbeat racing under stress, every muscle trembling with fatigue is a sign that the storm is alive. It is proof that your body is more than a collection of flesh and bones. It is a force, a movement, a hurricane of strength and resilience that responds to courage, challenge, and relentless action. You don't have to wait for it. You don't have to hope for it. It's already there. All that's left is to unleash it. Discipline builds the life motivation promises. Motivation is fleeting. It's a spark that can ignite action, but it rarely lasts long enough to create meaningful change. Motivation can inspire you to start, but it won't carry you through when the workouts get brutal, when the schedule is tight, or when life throws obstacles in your way. Discipline, on the other hand, is the engine that keeps you moving regardless of how you feel, the structure that transforms intention into reality, and the force that ensures consistency when inspiration fades. Without discipline, motivation is just a temporary high that leaves you back where you started. Discipline is the bridge between goals and results. You can dream about the body you want, imagine yourself stronger, leaner, or faster, but dreams alone don't shape reality. Action shapes reality, and consistent action is impossible without discipline. It's the daily commitment to show up, to do the work, and to push through when everything inside you wants to quit. Discipline isn't glamorous. It isn't about feeling good in the moment. It's about doing what needs to be done, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's inconvenient, and even when no one is watching. That's what separates those who achieve from those who simply hope. Discipline also builds resilience. Every time you honor your commitment, every time you push yourself past excuses, fatigue, or resistance, you reinforce the belief that you can rely on yourself. You teach your mind and your body that effort is non negotiable. The habits formed through disciplined action become automatic over time, reducing the mental friction that often derails progress. Whereas motivation can fluctuate with your mood, discipline is steady, unwavering, and dependable. It's the foundation that allows you to endure, adapt, and thrive in the face of challenges. The power of discipline lies in its compounding effect. Small, consistent actions, showing up for a workout, choosing a healthy meal, prioritizing recovery, and keeping a steady routine accumulate into massive results over time. Every act of self control, every repetition completed despite fatigue, every time you push through mental resistance is a deposit in the bank of long term transformation. Motivation might spark one big effort, but discipline sustains years of progress, turning potential into achievement and goals into a lifestyle. Discipline requires sacrifice. It demands that you prioritize your long term goals over short term comfort. It requires that you resist the urge to skip workouts, overeat, or settle for less than your best. Every time you choose effort over ease, you strengthen your capacity to keep going. Discipline doesn't mean perfection, but it does mean persistence. It's about showing up consistently, even when conditions aren't ideal, even when progress feels slow, and even when the body or mind protests. That's how transformation occurs, not in perfect moments, but in disciplined commitment over time. Discipline also shapes mindset. It teaches patience, focus, and self control. It transforms the way you approach challenges, setbacks, and plateaus. When you rely on discipline, you become less dependent on external validation, motivation, or luck. You learn that your success is directly tied to your actions and that the power to change your life resides entirely within you. Motivation can inspire hope, but discipline guarantees results. It is the consistent, relentless application of effort that turns vision into reality, shaping not just your body, but your habits, your mind, and ultimately the life you live. Every achievement, every breakthrough, every moment of pride and accomplishment is built on discipline. Motivation can get you started, but discipline carries you through the storm, through the fatigue, through the moments when quitting seems easier than continuing. It's the framework that ensures the promises of effort, perseverance, and action are fulfilled. Discipline is not optional, it is essential. It is the tool, the habit, and the mindset that converts desire into transformation, ensuring that the results you chase are not left to chance, but earned every single day.